Okay, it's time for us to motivate you. You know, as businesses worldwide grapple with the challenges of growth, Diji Wusu, seasoned development manager turned business growth specialist, is poised to answer invaluable insights. And our focus of discussion today is marketing 101 for entrepreneurs. Now, I know an entrepreneur or two watching right now is like, really, I'm getting a marketing class free of charge this morning. Yes, you are. Good to have you in the studio with us, Diji Wusu. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing very well.
You look very different. I saw you last week. You didn't look like this.
Oh, let's say I had a makeover.
Okay.
But thank you for that. Thank you.
But really, it's good to have you in the studio with us.
I'm happy to be here as well.
A lot to learn from you. Marketing 101. What's the first thing you must know when it comes to marketing?
Thank you for that. This is an aside, but I'd like to start by saying, if you're ever stuck, if you think you are unsure of what to do next, the counterintuitive thing is to ask for help, but that is the best solution. Once you are stuck, I tell you once again, if you are stuck, seek help. I get it. We are entrepreneurs. We are solution providers. We think that, yes, I can beat my way through it, but the most effective thing you can do is seek help. Find out someone that has done it before. If it's a coach, it's a mentor, a senior colleague. I remember over and over again while I was at work doing stuff, and I'm stuck. I'm like, I could put in the time. But the easier thing to do is just call a colleague, a senior colleague, or a friend. I'm like, please, for some reason, this is a bit unclear. Is there a way forward? And less than 5 seconds, they're like, oh, why don't you explore this option? And that worked. So my opening salvo to you is, if you are stuck, seek help.
Okay, so seeking help is great. However, what if you don't have the right sources? What if you don't know the right channels to visit in seeking help?
Right.
Isn't that more like fry pan to fire?
Thank you. But this is my question to you. Will you rather stick on a path that is leading you nowhere or explore options that are before you? You cannot tell me you do not have friends. You cannot tell me you do not have senior colleagues. You cannot tell me you do not have people that you watched on TV or so. But it doesn't have to be on TV. People that from afar, you've seen them deliver on whatever it is you are seeking to achieve. More likely than not, people are eager to help. It's almost, most people are willing to point people on the right path. Like, come, let me help you. I've been there before. Yes, for some people, it might come at a cost, but often more than not, there are people that are eager to point you out if it's not going to be too intensive.
Now, that eager is questionable, and I'll say why. These days, people monetize everything. So in a situation where somebody is already at their wit's end, financially, inspirationally, so to speak, and then they reach out to someone, even within their circle, everything is being monetized now. Even colleagues now monetize helping their colleague. In this environment now, how do you handle such?
Thank you for that. That's a great question. How do you handle such? So my first question would be that, are you averse to paying for advice? Look at it this way. You have a tummy ache. You go to the hospital. You get to pay for advice. You're not sure what kind of clothes you want to wear. You go to a fashion designer and say,
you get a stylist. Yeah.
You pay for advice.
Yeah.
Is anything wrong in paying for advice?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. I think that will answer the question.
Okay, so you should be willing to pay for advice if you want to get advice from someone, especially now that things have been monetized. Now let's trace it back to seeking help. There are certain situations in which businesses are beyond themselves. I know you said you should seek help, but there are certain things I believe ought to have been done even before you start the business. Now, in such a situation, what tips would you give?
Thank you. That's another great question. In my about 20 years working in an industry, what I've seen, a lot of businesses failed primarily because they do not know who their target audience is.
Yeah.
And that sounds very cliche, but it's the truth. And I remember back in school, when I was in college, a restaurant came on board, and their plan was very grand. They wanted to open a 5-star Chinese restaurant on school campus. Because they thought, well, the bourgeoisie came, they didn't need to go out to go and eat Chinese food. They could come to their restaurant, and that would be great. That sounded like a plausible and great idea. But
5-star restaurant in a school environment.
Because whether you like it or not, in any society, there are cadres, there will be categories, there will be people on their high echelons, and they thought they could tap into that, However, they didn't understand their target market because that market, they don't go to Chinese restaurants because they're craving for Chinese meals, they're not craving for continental meals. They go there for something else, and that's for status quo, just to maintain their status quo. For them, until they were going to the same big restaurants where everybody else goes to, it didn't matter. That didn't check the box for them. After I think about 3 months, they packed up because they had virtually low patronage. And I thought, I saw that coming. I'm sure a lot of people saw that coming. If they took the time to understand who is their target audience, that will have saved them a lot of trouble.
So using that as a case study, what could they have done differently?
Thank you for that. What I was starting to say is that when you are building a business, if you know your target audience, then you know what problem you can focus on. And let me clarify, the problem you focus on does not have to do with whatever it is that you're doing. If they were a restaurant, they were still going to do a restaurant, but they need to be clear. What is the problem of my audience? And your audience is not everybody. A lot of people say this, whatever I do can serve everyone. And I say, duh, there are about 7.8 billion people in the world. You cannot be serving everyone. Yes, people talk about TAM, the total market, but it has to be your audience from everyone else. Once you've gotten to a step of crafting out your audience, that this is my audience, they're the ones that are, quote, following me. You take a step in to find out what is the problem. Using the restaurant as an example, if they had come to school and they had found out that a lot of people wanted to eat maybe buffet, they wanted to eat good food at a certain price point that was not available in school, they could have said, okay, for the bourgeoisie, what do they want? Is it hamburgers? Is it things that they can't get? But the reason had to be the problem that is coming from your target audience. You will have to interact with your target audience to sit with them.
Absolutely.
What is the problem? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You need to sit down with target audience and find out what is it that matters to them. You cannot be dealing with a problem that they don't consider pertinent. They don't consider present. They are not going to pay for it. People only pay you because you are solving a problem for them.
Yeah.
It sounds so cliche, but that is reality. They don't pay you for your services. You can be the best, whatever it is, but they're not going to come to you. It will be a best kept secret, but they will pay you if you solve their problem. If you're going to make me feel like the coolest guy in town when I come to your restaurant, then I'll probably pay a premium for that. If you're going to make me feel like, oh, you've been there, I've been done that, I can take pictures, whatever it is, you are solving a problem that matters to me. That I will pay you for. Your restaurant is an aside.
So for an average entrepreneur now, you know, we're doing marketing 101. You've
Yes.
talked about the need to ask for help. You've
Yes.
talked about ensuring that you interact with your prospective target audience.
Yes.
We've also talked about doing your research. What else can you teach us?
Thank you for that. Once you have your audience, then another thing you need to consider is having access to your audience. For a lot of people, they say, oh yeah, I'm on social media, I'm on TV media. Agreed, that's the first step. But can you reach your audience at will? That is not subject to the whims or caprices of anything else. It's not subject to you paying for ads. It's not subject to you, the algorithms of your platform. Can you reach them at will? So for some people, they have a journal of phone numbers. That's a great start. For some people, they have a journal of WhatsApp numbers. That's a great start. For some people, it's email marketing. Whatever it is, you must be able to communicate with your customers and your prospective at will without being tied to any restrictions from any platform. That is the next step. Build your list. Build your audience list that you can access them when you need to access them.
This is actually key. I totally agree with. Thank you so much for the tips.
You're
Each
welcome.
of them has been really impactful, and I dare say that they are very, very important. So you want to take note of them because each point he has made has been quite pertinent. Thank you so much for your time, Diji Wusu. Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
And thank you as well. We're taking a break. You're still watching Wake Up Nigeria. Just stay with us.